Good evening to you all. Today we're starting episode 14 from Surah Al-Anaam. Lost indeed are those who killed their children foolishly without knowledge and forbade what Allah had provided for them, fabricating lies against Allah. They have gone astray and were not guided. So, the reason for the revelation here is that the tribes of Rabi'ah and Madar used to kill their daughters out of fear of poverty. So this verse was revealed. All right, so that's the first reason for the revelation. But there's another opinion that says no. It says that one of the prophet's companions drowned his daughter during the time of ignorance, meaning he hadn't entered Islam yet. So he drowned his daughter in a well. Anyway, he went and said, he told the prophet, O messenger of Allah, I did such and such when I was in ignorance. The prophet wept. If I had been commanded to punish anyone for what they did in ignorance, I'd have punished you. The verse was revealed. All right, that was the verse. That was it. There were two opinions regarding the reasons for its revelation. All right, very good. What does the verse mean? It means that those who buried their daughters alive and killed them out of ignorance and for no reason. It means they have forbidden themselves what Allah has given them, meaning God has given you a gift and you forbid it, you go and kill it. That's the meaning of the verse. Those people went astray from guidance. The meaning according to this source, Bar al-Ulum, as we just mentioned. Now, the question is, what is the wisdom behind repeating the word Allah twice? Look, pay attention. They forbade what Allah provided. Now, pay attention. This is slander against Allah. Isn't that slander against Him? The Quran tends toward brevity. Let's look at this point. What does it say? They have gone astray. Notice here, they have gone astray. All right, that's very clear. And they were not guided. But isn't that considered repetition again? Why? Because misguidance means the absence of guidance. And He is the one who created trellised and untrellised gardens, and date palms, and crops of different kinds of food, and olives and pomegranates, similar and dissimilar. Eat of their fruit when they bear fruit, and give its due on the day of harvest, and do not be wasteful. Indeed, He does not love the wasteful. The meaning is that Allah is the one who created the trellis gardens. Honestly, I don't really know if those people are just the ones who don't understand farming. The arsh refers to things that lie flat on the ground or rest on the ground, like watermelon, sweet potatoes, and potatoes. All of these lie on the ground. These are called trellis gardens or gardens with an arsh, meaning they have a trellis. People who have worked as farmers are the ones who understand what arsh means. So, anything that grows on the surface of the ground or under the surface, like potatoes and sweet potatoes, and yes, watermelon grows above the ground, but it also has a trellis. That's what spreads out on the ground. This is what's called the arsh. All right. There are trellis gardens and non-trellis gardens. So he's saying that God is the one who created the gardens or orchards. So yes, Jannat here means gardens or orchards, like trellis crops such as sweet potatoes, and watermelon, and then the non-trellised ones. What are those? Those are like palm trees and other trees that grow upwards, not spreading along the ground, not sprouting on the ground. That's the point. These are the ones that grow up off the ground. They grow up from the ground, like palm trees and other trees, those that are different in taste. And he is also the one who created olives and pomegranates, some of them similar and some different, so you can eat from them when they ripen. And this verse, some people said it was abrogated by the verse about zakat. What's the source? It's from Fath al-Qadir by al-Shawkani. What does he say? Sorry, I'm just going to skim over this point quickly because we'll need it specifically this time. And yes, that's a third person pronoun. Because, again, there are those who refer to God in the third person. He loves, he does not love. Yeah, here too, yes, a third person pronoun is being used. There are those who speak about God, and from the livestock, some are for carrying loads, and some are for bedding. Eat from what God has provided for you, and do not follow the footsteps of Satan. He is a clear enemy to you. What does this mean here? It means that God is the one who created from the livestock themselves. That is, he created different types of animals, types like those used for carrying loads. What does carrying loads mean? It means the ones we use to carry things, like, camels. And he also created another type of livestock, which is for bedding. What is bedding? Animals. Bedding refers to the animals that are laid down to be slaughtered. That is, you lay them down on the ground. This is what they call bedding. You lay them down on the ground and slaughter them, like sheep, for example, and also those that are laid down in rows, like sheep, goats, and all that. So these are the two types, those for carrying loads and those for bedding. You may eat from what God has made lawful for you among them. And do not follow Satan in forbidding them, like the people did in the time of ignorance. What did they do? Because Satan is your enemy. So when I make something lawful for you, and he forbids you something, follow me, not him. Fu people. The source here is Al-Tashal Liyulam Al-Tanzil by Ibn Juzay al-Garnani. Here's the question. Okay, so look, who is the pronoun referring to here? To Satan? Definitely, he is a clear enemy to you. So who is talking about Satan here? Because in the verse right before this, what does it say? It says that he does not love the extravagant. All right, I don't disagree with you that here, who is it referring to? To God. Okay, in both cases, who is speaking? Is there a third party talking about both God and Satan? Or is God talking about himself in the third person here? Honestly, I can't seem to put both of them together for you on one page. Let me just do this for a few seconds so that it all comes together in front of you. Here, he means God, very clearly. All right. Here, who is talking about God? Is it God himself saying he about himself? And then here, who is the one talking about Satan? Is it Satan talking about himself? Or is it God talking about himself and about Satan in the third person using he and he? This was actually an important point that needed clarification. A pairs, 2 from sheep and 2 from goats. Say, did he forbid the 2 males or the 2 females? Or what the wombs of the 2 females contain? Tell me with knowledge, if you are truthful. What does this mean here? It means that God created 8 types of livestock. 2 pairs from sheep, which are those with wool, male and female, and 2 pairs from goats. Those with hair, also male and female. Pay attention. Sew 2 pairs from here and 2 pairs from there. Say to them, O Muhammad, did God forbid the 2 males from the sheep and the goats, or did he forbid both of them? Or did he forbid the fetuses in the wombs of the females? Those who are in, those in the womb, what does that mean? This was discussed in the book Bab al-Tawal fi Mani al-Tanzil by Al-Kazim. Here, in truth, he says to him, say. So when you see the word say in the Quran, know that it is a command from God to the Prophet Muhammad to speak. Because if there is no say, and the statement is made by the Prophet Muhammad, then it is from his own words without dispute, and from the camels too, and from the cattle too. Say, did he forbid the 2 males or the 2 females, or what the wombs of the 2 females contain? Or were you witnesses when God commanded you with this? So who is more unjust than one who fabricates a lie against God to mislead people without knowledge? Indeed, God does not guide the wrongdoing people. God created 2 from the camels, which are what? The male camel and the female camel, very good. And from the cattle 2, which are what? The bull and the cow. Ask them, O Muhammad. Our Lord is telling him, ask them, O Muhammad, did God forbid them? Or did he forbid the fetuses in the wombs of the females? The same thing that happened in the previous verse regarding the goats and such, right? So he is telling him to ask them as a form of reproach. O Muhammad, reproach them as you ask. Were you present with God when he forbade these livestock? You are lying about God like this just to mislead people without any guidance or enlightening book. Here, the jurist is the intermediary in interpreting the Quran for Sheikh Muhammad Sayyid Tantawi. All right, my friends, honestly here as well. Pay attention, pay attention. Here he is telling him this so that when you see the word say in the Quran, you know that it is God who commanded the Prophet Muhammad to say it. And if you don't find this word, it means that the Prophet is speaking in his own words in the Quran. This is an important point, so make sure you pay attention to it. Now, I actually have a question here. What is the reason for repeating the word Allah 3 times in this verse? Honestly, this was a very important point for me, because the Quran always tends toward brevity. He tells you, look, pay attention. Here, I'm teaching them so you can be aware of it. See, 3 times for emphasis and the repetition of the word Allah. Say, I find nothing revealed to me forbidden to be eaten by one who wishes to eat it, except carrion, spilled blood, or swine flesh, for that is impure, or a sinful offering dedicated to other than Allah. But whoever is compelled, neither desiring it nor transgressing, then surely your Lord is forgiving, merciful. Say is a command from Allah to the Prophet Muhammad, you see. So, if we remove say from here in this way, if so, then the words would be spoken by the Prophet Muhammad, not by Allah himself, without a doubt. Otherwise, he wouldn't have told him to say, right? That's the truth. Now, let's start reading. When it comes to reading, he said there were people who used to read it a certain way. And notice, it's talking, not yakin. Why is that? Because meta, carrion, is feminine, so it should be talking meta. That ta marbuta, see, it has to have the feminine marker, the ta, so it's talking meta. So that's the verse. People used to read it like that, not the way it appears in the Quran now. All right. So what's the meaning here? What's the point? It's that God is commanding the prophet to ask the polytheists who forbade the very sustenance He provided them. Is he really asking them like that? Did a messenger come to you with this prohibition? Pay attention. He's telling them, and the prophet is adding, saying, from what I see in the revelation that came to me, the Quran that was sent to me, I see that God forbade these cattle, but he only prohibited carrion, spilled blood, pork, and anything over which the names of idols were invoked, that is, during the act of slaughtering. Even for those forced to eat spilled blood, pork, or what was slaughtered in the name of idols, if compelled to eat these things just to save themselves from perishing, not for pleasure, then it's fine. God places no blame on them, and God is forgiving, merciful. Which scholar explained it this way. It's in Jani al-Bayan fi Tasir al-Quran by Al-Tabari. And to those who are Jews, we forbade every animal with claws, and of cattle and sheep we forbade them their fat, except what is on their backs or the entrails, or what is mixed with bone. That was their recompense for their transgression, and indeed we are truthful. The meaning is that God forbade the Jews from eating the meat of anything that has claws, whether it's an animal that walks on the earth or a bird that flies in the sky. As for cattle and sheep, he made their meat lawful for them, but not their fat, nor the intestines, nor the tail fat. I don't know if you know what leah is or not. The thing they call leah, the fat tail of sheep and such animals. So with that, God is saying, we punished them because of their wrongdoing when we forbade them these things. This is considered a punishment because they were unjust. So we are truthful in what we promised the sinners, what we said we would do to them. We applied it to them. He supports this truth with another verse from Surah An-Nisa. He says, because of the wrongdoing of those who became Jews, we forbade them good things which had been permitted to them. We covered this before. I don't know if you remember or not. The scholar here is Al-Kashaf, Al-Zamakshari, a pronoun. Here, pay attention. God is speaking about himself directly. We forbade, we, God, like with every animal with claws, and from cattle and sheep, we forbade, we, God. Again, are you paying attention? Exactly. Except for what is attached to the bones, we repaid them. Here too, we repaid them. We, God, and indeed, we are truthful. I honestly don't know who would accuse God of lying, for him to emphasize that he is truthful in what he says. But anyway, fine. So here, God is speaking about himself in the first person 4 times in the verse. So if they deny you, and his might against the criminal people, what does the meaning here really convey? God is telling the prophet, if they deny you, say, your Lord is vast in mercy toward his allies, and able to drive out and curse the enemies. Who is expressing this meaning? Which scholar? Erez al-Bayan fi Hikayat al-Quran by al-Bakli. The real question here is, what is he saying to him? He's saying to him, then, here, brothers, Hafayana means so if, just so you know. So if they deny you, say, he is God. He didn't know whether they would deny him or not. If they deny you, say God. So does that God doesn't know whether they'll deny him or not? It's like I'm telling you, look, you go ahead. It's like you're accused with me, and I'm going with you as your lawyer. If the prosecution or the police ask you about something, answer like this, but I don't know whether they'll ask him or not. Those who associated others with God will say, If God had willed, neither we nor our fathers would have associated others with him, nor would we have forbidden anything. Those before them also denied until they tasted our punishment. Say, do you have any knowledge that you can show us? You follow nothing but assumptions, and you are only guessing. What does this mean? It means that the polytheists will say that God was able to prevent us from committing shirk. He was able to keep us from being polytheists. But he wanted us to commit shirk and commanded us to do so. And they considered this divine will or decree as an excuse for abandoning faith. So, of course, God refuted their claim. You see, that's the point of the verse. Yes, so he refuted the disbelievers and said that they are just like the disbelievers of the previous nations. And what about the previous nations? They tasted our punishment or our torment, meaning punishment here refers to torment. So that's the point. So the scholar says that God's command is different from his will, which is his decree. So he wills, yes, but he does not command disbelief. He wills disbelief. Yes, he decrees disbelief. Yes, but he does not command disbelief. And the servant must follow God's command and not follow or be attached to God's will, meaning here, who is actually saying this before we get into the questions. It's from Malam al-Tanzil by al-Baghawi. Those who associated others with God will say, if God had willed, we would not have associated partners with him. Pay close attention to this sentence. It's God who is saying that the polytheists will say, if God had willed, we would not have associated partners with him. Honestly, look, I brought it to you here word for word, exactly as it is, my friend. God, not polytheists, said, if God willed, they would not have associated partners. Yes, by God, he says it, forget it. He himself is the one who said it in Al-Anaam, verse 107, not them who are going to say it. And if God had willed, they would not have associated partners with him. These words are from God himself, not from the polytheists. Then in verse 148, he says to me, the polytheists will say, those who associated others with God will say, if God had willed, we would not have associated partners with him. If you said it in verse 107, then it's from you, not them. Say, to God belongs the conclusive argument. Had he willed, he would have guided you all. It means that God is telling the prophet Muhammad, O Muhammad, say to them, or to the polytheists, that God has wisdom. He has wisdom and a decisive argument in guiding whom he wills and letting go astray whom he wills. So if he wanted, if he willed, he would have guided you all by his power, his will, and his choice. Now, the proof that God's will is the deciding factor in guidance or lack thereof. I've also brought you some verses, and if God willed, he would have gathered them all to guidance. If your Lord willed, everyone on earth believed. If your Lord willed, he made people community. HUD verse 118. This is biggest proof that God's will deciding factor in guidance or lack thereof. Here's the verse on the subject. All right, fine. Let's go back again. Here it says to me, if he had willed, but I want to understand, did he will it or not? I really don't know. I mean, if this is a conditional matter, like if you go to such and such a place, you'll find this or that. If you work hard in your studies, you'll pass at the end of the year. So here, did he will it or not? Say, Bring your witnesses who testify that God has forbidden this. If they bear witness, do not bear witness with them, and do not follow the desires of those who deny our signs, those who do not believe in the hereafter, and who set up equals with their Lord. The meaning here is that God is telling the prophet, O Muhammad, say to the polytheists, bring your witnesses, bring those who will testify with you that God has forbidden what you have forbidden. All right, so if they testify together, O Muhammad, don't believe them and don't follow them. Why? Because these people have denied our signs and disbelieved in God and the hereafter. Who is interpreting here or saying these words? It's elgendynyc al-Quran by al-Qurtubi. My question here, honestly, is what exactly is he saying to him now? So if they testify, this means that God doesn't know if they testify, if they do testify. What's the crime? Just don't testify with them. That's the point. My question is about, and do not follow the desires of those who have denied our signs. And the rest of the verse. Was it possible for the prophet to follow them and testify with them? Why was that even a possibility? Why is God warning him against testifying with them or following the desires of those who deny God's signs? Was that even possible in God's view? And if not, then why is he warning him? Say, come, let me recite what your Lord has forbidden to you, that you do not associate anything with him, and to be good to your parents, and do not kill your children out of poverty. We provide for you and for them. And do not approach immoralities, whether openly or in secret. And do not kill the soul which God has forbidden except by right. This he has instructed you, so that you may understand. The meaning is that God is telling the prophet Muhammad, O Muhammad, say to the polytheists, come closer to me here and listen. This come means draw nearer to me for a moment and hear what your Lord has forbidden you from. What is it that your Lord has forbidden you from? Here you go, sir, that you do not associate anyone with him. Meaning what? That you do not make a partner for God. Meaning, don't worship idols and don't kill your children out of fear of poverty, because your sustenance and theirs are guaranteed by God. What else? Don't commit the crime of adultery, whether it is open or hidden. Apparently, adultery is when someone, for example, marries his father's wife after his father has died. And what's hidden is adultery with others, with people other than those mentioned. That's the verse. So what's the whole point? And do not kill the soul which God has forbidden, except by right. For example, don't kill anyone except, say, a group, like someone who disbelieves after having believed. That's the soul God forbidden, except by right. Who is killed justly? The soul that can be killed justly, which is the one who disbelieves after having believed, the one who commits adultery after being married, the one who kills, and the crime of murder is proven against him. This is a soul that can be killed justly. That's it. Whether we agree or disagree with this, but this is what the jurist says. This is from Majma al-Bayan and the interpretation of the Quran by Al-Tabarsi. And do not approach the property of the orphan except in the best manner until he reaches maturity, and give full measure and weight with justice. We do not burden any soul beyond its capacity. And when you speak, be just, even if it concerns a close relative, and fulfill the covenant of Allah. This is what he has instructed you, so that you may remember. What does this mean here? Do not approach the property of the orphan except to the extent that benefits his wealth. All right. If you are going to grow his wealth, if you are going to invest his money, and as long as you feel it serves his best interest, do that. Other than that, Don't go near money until this orphan reaches maturity, grows up, understands, and can manage money. He also tells them, fulfill measure and balance, make it complete, and be just in your words and testimony. Even if it's against your relative, you must be fair and testify truthfully. And fulfill Allah has covenanted with you. People said, no, fulfill what you have pledged to Allah. And others said, no, fulfill what you have pledged among yourselves between one another. That's the verse. This is what God has commanded you to do. That's the verse. That's the whole story. Who is the one saying this meaning? The one who says this meaning is Albar al-Muhit. Abu Hayyan says, Allah does not burden a soul beyond its capacity. Okay, we do not burden a soul beyond its capacity. What is the connection between this verse and what comes before and after it? Indeed, this is my straight path, so follow it, lest they separate you from his way. He instructed you with this, so you may become righteous. The meaning is that God is saying, know, everyone, that my path is guidance, and its end is paradise, and the path of Iblis is misguidance, innovations, and doubts, and its end is the fire. Who is saying this? It is Elder Al-Manther in the traditional exegesis by Al-Suyuti. My question here is, what is the reason for repeating that is what he has instructed you with in verse 153 and in verse 152? This phrase is repeated, I mean, twice. All right, fine. That's also very nice. So what's the next question here? What's the difference between them? So what is he saying here exactly? He says, so that you may become righteous. Okay. And then here he says, so that you may remember. So what is it? Is it just rhyming at the end of the verses? Or is there more to it? So why specifically this? Okay, what if we switched them? If we put so that you may become righteous in 152 and so that you may remember in 153, would that make a difference? I just want to understand, that's all. You need to give me, yes, a rational explanation, something I can understand, something I can grasp, so that when you tell me no, I get it. If we put so that you may remember here, it would make a difference in such and such a way. And if we put so that you may become righteous here, it would make a difference in another way. Pay attention. Let's just go back to the texts again. What's the difference if we swap them? If we put this one here and that one there, if we put so that you may become righteous here and put so that you may remember there, so that you may remember here, so that you may remember, what does it mean? What's the big difference in this case? Honestly, the last point, he says, my path, my path. It means it's a first person pronoun. This is my path. I am God. All right, that's very nice. And then he says, so follow the path and do not follow the other ways, lest you be divided. That is what he has enjoined upon you. He, not what we have enjoined upon you. This is the verse. And then here he says, this is my straight path, so follow it, and do not follow the other ways, lest they separate you from his path, from his path. Here's the verse. His path, not my path. That is what he has enjoined upon you. He has enjoined it upon you, he as well. So all of these are third person pronouns in truth, so that you may remember. So sometimes he addresses me with the first person pronoun, my path, I. And other times he addresses me with a third person pronoun, even within the same verse. Thank you all very much. And I apologize for the length. We'll meet in the next episode, which is the final episode on Surah Al-Anaam.